Hi, and thanks for choosing to watch this video. You've probably heard me speak countless of times at the fight between Tyson Fury and WLADIMIR KLITSCHKO, and tonight is no exception. It's like 2 o'clock in the morning. We're making some calls to America, and the question is constantly asked: what's your opinion on the fight between Klitschko and Fury? I say Chisora because I just finished watching Chisora Fury, the first fight. Now, Tyson Fury, through his career, has improved. He's become a better fighter, I think, since being under the tutelage of Peter Fury. Okay, but for me, there's a few factors, some of which you would be aware of, i.e. factor number one, the Steve Cunningham fight. The Steve Cunningham fight is the first thing you think about if you're a Tyson Fury fan. That fight, or even a Nevin Pajcek fight, those are 2 fights right there. And the Nicholas Further fight, 3 fights there. Or the Derek Chisora fight, 4 fights. Those are 4 fights I would suggest for boxing fans or Fury fans to go and watch. Further, Pajcek, Chisora, and Cunningham. 4 fights. 4 fights. Fury showed one thing in particular that David Price was unable to show. Is he was able to get up and win a fight. Or in a tough fight where he was getting hurt, tie up, give himself time to his head to clear, and then come back. In the Pajcek fight and Nicholas Further fight and the Cunningham fight, he was shaken up. In 2 of those fights, he was dropped. He got back up, and in the later rounds, turned around and stopped his opponent. Okay, so those are positive signs and negative all wrapped in one there. Now, the one thing I've noticed in those 4 Fury fights, not so much the latest fight he had against Chisora or the fight he had against Hammer. The thing I noticed is that Tyson Fury is good at distance and he's good up close. Mid-range is where there's the problem. And in mid-range, he doesn't do anything. He's not doing anything. He's either standing looking at you or he loses concentration. You go back and look at all the fights where he's either been dropped or he's been hurt. He's either been caught by overhand right or he's been caught by a left hook. Now, I know that Fury has said jab, grab, hold, left jab, right hand. But I would have to disagree with Tyson there, because the left hook is what put Kubrat Pulev to sleep. The right hand has rendered many heavyweights unconscious. And at mid-range, if Tyson Fury allows WLADIMIR KLITSCHKO to uncork a right hand or a left hook on his chin, the way he allowed those 4 opponents to, it spells trouble, big trouble for Fury fans. Big trouble. Go back and look at the tape. Every time Tyson's at mid-range, that means not all the way out with the jab or all the way in, tying up or fighting close inside. Those 2 areas, those 2 spaces of Tyson is where he's safe. When he gets mid-range with someone like any of his opponents that have hurt him or have any intent to hurt him, that is dangerous for Tyson Fury, because the hands come down the concentration switches off and he gets clipped with the left hook or the right hand. That's a concern there. Stamina in a hectic fight, in a 12 rounder. I'm not talking about 5 and 6 rounds. I'm talking about round 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, and not against an average puncher. This guy that Tyson Fury is fighting is the best puncher by a country mile that Tyson will be fighting. He's the most accurate, the most powerful. He knows when and where to place the shot, and he's got experience and timing to go with it, and regularly fighting. So he's landed against sharper guys and landed against guys that are probably more agile than Mr. Fury. And that in itself, for me, is a concern.
Look, but it's not all doom and gloom for Fury fans. Look at it this way. Tyson Fury mentally is very strong in terms of his belief that Vladimir Klitschko is an old man, his belief that Vladimir Klitschko cannot beat him. In his mindset, he's an unbeaten fighter, and so there's no fear there, or any fear there is counteracted with the fact that that's going to make me train harder to destroy you. So Tyson's mentally very strong. He's not going to listen to what I've got to say or anybody else has got to say that matter. So he's strong-headed like that, and that's what you need. You've got to be able to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, if you're waiting for boxing fans to believe in you, or people on Twitter, on Facebook to believe in you, then forget it. Tyson Fury is a salesman, and there's no doubt about it. When he gets on a microphone and starts talking and dropping his lyrics, I don't know about Kevin Johnson and his bars, but you know, Tyson Fury is probably in the top 3 best trash talkers in the world, without a shadow of a doubt. And people kind of listen to Tyson Fury, whether you want to listen to him because you like him or you hate him, you still listen to him. And I, having interviewed Tyson a few times now, there is a common thread with him that he'll start an interview or conversation very mild-mannered, very calm and calculated, and then maybe 5 or 10 minutes or 15 minutes into an interview, he will then just switch into another gear. And sometimes I think the way people talk as the way they think is the way that they fight. And I wouldn't be surprised if Tyson started this fight off, in a very calm, calculated manner, and at some point exploded into life in the same way that he talks and he thinks. So that's something I'm kind of looking to see within the Klitschko fight. Let's look at the attributes he does have, Tyson. I think when people talk about, I look at this fight as one night only, or one fight only, because for both Klitschko and Fury, they're both fighting guys that they've never come across before. Because you've got a guy in Tyson Fury's ambidextrous, meaning he can box from southpaw to orthodox. If you look at the guys Klitschko's fought and had experience against, he, like Fury, has fought small guys. Vlad has fought the top-rated Tony Thompson and Amaris Vac, 2 guys who Vac was the orthodox, Thompson the southpaw. You've got in Fury who can box as orthodox and southpaw. You've also got in someone in Fury who can box from long range, and a guy who can box basically or long range on the back foot and come forward as well. If you saw his fight against Cunningham, you saw 2 sides of Fury. You saw one side of Fury where he was on the back foot using the jab. On against Kevin Johnson, another example, safety first on the back foot using the jab. And then you also saw Fury who against Cunningham, smaller man, who put his hands up and basically walked back to Cunningham to the ropes and try to force him back and bully him. Will he be able to do that against Vladimir Klitschko? I'm not so sure. Physical strength will be key in there as well. So, but there are other things about this fight that Team Fury may be new to, which are the antics and the not the professionalism so much, but the being experienced world champion. Vladimir Klitschko will know all the tricks in the book, and that's before you even get in the ring. How they handle press conferences, how they deal with Fury when he arrives in Germany, whether they're gonna bring the whole disrespect thing from beginning to end. In terms of the hotel, in terms of whether Fury's made sleep well at night, all sorts of these sort of games that we played as well. That it's not uncommon, but I do believe that Team Fury are smart enough not to get themselves caught in that, and their team is going to have to be super tight. They cannot miss a trick when dealing with the likes of Vladimir Klitschko and Team K2 Promotions, because they are on the ball. They are completely on the ball. And any elements of naivety or shortcomings or cutting corners, which I don't think there will be, but if there's any hint of that, Klitschko will pick up on it because he's good like that. And there's concerns there. So this fight can be lost outside the ring. And the other thing is, at this minute in time, people might think that's great that Tyson's trash talking Vladimir Klitschko. But wouldn't it be better that he didn't rile Vladimir Klitschko? Wouldn't it be better if he just let Vladimir Klitschko underestimate him and allow Klitschko to take him and get sort of complacent with him, rather than do quite the opposite, which is rile Klitschko up so he'd train better and be more explosive? That's what you don't really want to be doing. So is that going to work to Tyson Fury or work against him? Now, the amount of energy you're putting out to do all this talking and constantly run Klitschko down, will that work against Tyson or will it work for him? Remember, this is the best fighter he's faced in his whole career. Some fighters rise to the occasion and they fight better. Other fighters flunk. So when you're making a punt on Tyson Fury for this fight, you've got to ask yourself the question, can he raise himself to the next level? A lot of people say to me, oh, well, if I back Fury, then they'll say I'm always backing people against Klitschko. And then if I back Klitschko, and people turn around and say to me, well, you know what, you supported Fury for so long, now the big fight comes along, you're backing out. So, but for me, this guy, Tyson Fury, is probably the most complete fighter. Got a guy who can box going forward, a boxer who can fighter going back, a fighter that can is adaptable, and a fighter that can change mid-fight and make changes. So that is a guy, that Vlad hasn't fought. So the case is, when people talk about experience in fights, it's not experience in fighting, but for me, it more goes down to the guy that you're facing on the night. How much will the experience of fighting a Bright Jennings or a Mark Mormack or a Eddie Chambers, how much is that experience gonna help Vladimir Klitschko against Tyson Fury? The only thing is, well, confidence. I'm the champion. I'm confident. I can beat guys. As for Tyson Fury, what experience does Derek Chisora, Christian Hammer give Tyson? It doesn't, apart from the fact that I've beat them. The fights that give Tyson confidence are the ones that he's been hit on the chin, he's been hurt, he's come back, and he's won. That's the confidence he has going into a Klitschko fight. And he also has confidence knowing Klitschko can be hit, he can be hurt, and he can be knocked out. Okay, so he said it openly. He said it in the interview I did with him. Tyson Fury said, look, if the fight's in England, I can box in a certain way. If the fight's in Germany, I'm going to have to force the fight. So he's not going to go out there and box for a draw. He's going to go out there to try and rip the titles away from Vladimir Klitschko. And for me, he's got to do it one of two ways: throw punches from long range, or throw punches from up close. He cannot fight Vladimir Klitschko at mid range. If he's fighting Vladimir Klitschko up close, then it's uppercuts on the inside, and working Vlad's body. Tyson Fury is a body puncher. Vlad isn't. So, and you saw the body punching with Bryant Jennings. If there is a weakness there in Vlad, not much the chin, the body, you saw how Vlad started slowing against Bryant Jennings, who's not a puncher. Okay? So that's a point there. The jab. Who's going to have the better jab on the night? Both guys are going to be meeting a person that can jab to their chin. Vlad's going to be punching slightly up, and Tyson going to be punching slightly down. They always say punching up is better than punching. You lose power punching down, but you gain power punching up. So they say. So Vladimir Klitschko will probably have the advantage in that. So these are just thoughts that are going through my mind for Tyson. And will he burn up a lot of nervous energy, or will he be able to control his emotions for this fight? Going to Germany, how does he fight going away from home? At least he knows he's got Peter Fury in his corner. But even for Peter Fury, this is his as a trainer. I would say this is his night as well. This is his real acid test as a trainer. But ultimately it's going to be down to Tyson Fury, and I give Tyson Fury a very good shot against Vladimir Klitschko, because he brings youth, he brings adaptability, which I think he does, and he can box from southpaw to orthodox. He can come out and charge at you and come and fight you, or he can stand off on the back foot and counter punch you. Whether his skills are good enough against Vladimir Klitschko, that remains the question. If they're good enough, they beat Vladimir Klitschko, and if his skills are not good enough, they don't beat Vladimir Klitschko, unless age sets in on that night. But I just think it's one night for Tyson Fury to shine. Will they give him a shot again after this fight? Don't know. But for me, this fight comes down to Tyson needs to limit the amount of times Vladimir Klitschko hits him, and he needs to create as many chances as possible to hit Vladimir Klitschko. One of the things a plan they devised with Derek Chisora, was to turn southpaw, so that stopped Chisora swinging that right hand over the top. We know that Klitschko struggled with Tony Thompson with the southpaw stance. We know that. But remember, Klitschko still beat Tony Thompson. You can be troubled, and as they say, you can have a plan until you get hit on the chin. Again, I go back to it. It's like the elephant in the room. Can Fury take A, sustained punishment, and from a big heavy puncher, and B, can he actually take a genuine big heavyweight punch from a world-class puncher? If he can take the shots, or he can ride the shots, or he can limit the amount of times he gets hit on his chin by Klitschko, is he going to have to? Then, like I said, he's got a great chance. He's got an absolutely great chance. And the way Team Fury are talking, and the way Peter Fury's got Tyson talking, the way Tyson's talking himself, we're in for an exciting fight. And I've always said, if you've got a dog in you and you're really ready to fight and bite down on your balls and take it to Klitschko, I've always thought that he's always vulnerable to that. And even Bryant Jennings started getting close to Klitschko, there was almost panic in his eyes. And the final thing is Jonathan Banks. You saw in the fight against Bryant Jennings that he's had the luxury of simply winding up the robot and letting the robot go out and do what it does. In this fight, should Fury start pushing buttons, and making the robot begin to malfunction, as it started to slightly malfunction against Brian Jennings now, what did Banks turn around and tell Klitschko to do against Jennings? He turned around and told him to box him. If that was Emmanuel Stewart in the corner or James Ali Bashir, they would have told them to take Jennings to the ropes and go for the knockout. So, will the Klitschko camp have issues if Tyson were to land early and hurt Klitschko early? As for Vladimir Klitschko, if he hits Tyson, he better make sure that Tyson stays on the canvas and he don't get up. Because if Tyson gets up off that canvas and the fight's going late, I still believe Tyson can come back and beat Klitschko. So those are my thoughts so far. I'll do a further breakdown on my thoughts about Klitschko and his chances of beating Tyson Fury. Thanks for watching.